Hello everyone, let me know if you could hear me loud and clear. I'm just gonna go grab some water real quick. Just gonna let this run for a little more, let some more people come in. Looks like there's about 170 people right now. Should be some more coming in a moment. Alright, let me know if you guys could hear me. Yo, Ian, you could block whoever you need to, brother. If people are spamming. We don't have any energy for that today. How's it going, Liberty Prime? Sidika, Justin, Guadalupe, D Vortex. Okay, everyone's letting me know the sound is good. David V, much love to you. Jody, I appreciate you showing up. Los Lopez. I hope everyone's having a beautiful day wherever you are. Diego, appreciate you showing up. Mimi. Damn, I might get some wine too. That's a good idea, Jody. The veil is being lifted. Alright, I'm just gonna let some more people come in and then see what's going on today. Jenny Smith. Hi, Jordan. I hope you're doing well. Jenny, I am doing better every day. Thank you so much. I hope you are doing well wherever you are. Raymond says, Jordan, thank you for all your work and effort to teach us and sharing your knowledge. You got countless predictions right. It's amazing. Some have difficulties with emotions, but that are just a few. Yeah, well, you know how markets are, right? They're essentially just emotional, a spectrum of emotions that most people aren't ready for. And I think what's funny about how markets operate is everyone wants the exact opposite of what's happening in the market at the time that market is doing what it does. For anyone who's been in this market for over a year, this is just another day in the market for you, I'm sure. Anyone who's just joined crypto recently, if you're freaking out, it's because you just joined. Anyways, Dustin, sending you love, brother. Sadiqa says, while the crypto world is on fire and panic, I'm sitting here. Dope. Gotta chill. Stuart, doing great. How are you? Good morning from Brisbane, Australia. Dana, sending you love. I hope it's good times wherever you are, everyone. How's Australia doing? It's typically a lot of people in Australia on these live streams because it's like morning time where you're at. Matsis, it's your first live? Wow. Well, I don't do them too often. I think I've only had like 1 or 2 weeks since being in this market and doing this YouTube channel where I've gone live twice. So it's usually once a week. And last week was a little bit different for me because I ended up spending some time with family. So I did the live a little bit earlier in the week. I think I did it on like Wednesday. I don't remember. But that was a really good time. It's always a good time hanging out with you guys. Rebecca Carrington, I hope you're doing great. Yeah, I need to watch that replay, Andrew, of what Doug did last night with that Zoom meeting. Sounds like a really good time. East says, Jordan, have to give you a big thanks for introducing me to Decode Your Realities channel. Yeah, Logan's amazing, isn't he? His work is really something else. I'm always, honored to be able to go on his podcasts with him whenever we get together to do one. We've actually been talking a lot about what's going on with this new variant, so hopefully he has a decode coming out on that soon. I think it's going to be great. But me and him have also been having conversations on the side discussing the new variant by the code, out of the perspective of the code, of course. Soda, how's it going, brother? Cyclown, what's up, Jordan? Happy Friday. Thank you for all you do, brother. I hope your energy shields are holding strong. Oh man, I'm fucking amazing. This is the best I've ever been in my whole life. And it's funny because there's a lot of energy going on right now because of what's going on in the market. But if you're there in life, if you're at that place in life where you're really getting affected by this market, well then you need to check in with yourself. You need to check in with where your priorities are, it's so funny to me because my work has almost solely been centered around talking about dips. And it's funny that that's been sort of the claim to fame with my work is talking about corrections. So this whole last couple weeks, it's really shown me who the real ones are, who's here to learn, who's here to be part of a community, who's here to actually gain a skill in life, who's here to be a part of a team, and the ones that are out there that they don't want to put in any fucking work, they just want to follow. And those are the people that are always led to the slaughter. I'm saying that with a smile on my face too, because I've been there before as well. It's always the people who want to put in the least amount of work that have the most amount of shit to say. And the finger pointing. Gotta love those. Anyways, back to good vibes. Emil, Levi Brown, I appreciate you showing up. Adrian, Papa, appreciate you, man. Michael, appreciate you. Jessa, right, we got a lot of people up in here now, about 500. That's what's up. I got a super chat from Alonzo. This is going to get better. Everything's an illusion, man. You know, like everything you're experiencing in life is an illusion. Nothing is bad, nothing is good, nothing is worse, nothing is better. It's just what you make it. And I'm not talking to you, Alonzo. I just mean in general. Like, we as chosen ones like us, all of us here that are tuning into this, that are a part of this moment, like we all have so much power. And I think we sometimes think this darkness is something we can't do anything about. Whatever's going on in the world right now, whatever psyop they're electing to the top of our, attention span at the current time. And we all know how this works. It's like just when you get a little bit of comfort in your life, just when you sort of know where things are headed, there's a curveball, right? That's how this reality operates. And the elites know how to continue out this protocol like almost indefinitely as a huge test. And they keep winning every time because the masses aren't doing much of anything about it besides either, agreeing to go along with it or just talking about it on the internet. Doesn't really get too much done. I don't know who this is, what they said, because the message got deleted, but the servant of Jesus Christ person. I can only imagine the shit that person's trying to say. Is that a picture of Kamala Harris? Oh my god, that's fucking amazing. All right, Kevin, I appreciate you, brother. Thanks for showing up. Emmanuel, appreciate you. Happy Friday, meat skin avatars. Kenny. Belgium in the house. Glenn says, can't hear me. You should be able to hear me. Amad says, yo, Jordan, I enjoy end of every Friday more knowing that you're streaming. You guys with Logan do your own. Oh, yeah. Planning some new talk. Yeah, so I don't know the next time that me and Logan are going to chat. I think he just moved. So, and he has his own thing going on. He's doing a lot of readings and stuff. He's making a lot of content, a lot of last minute content. I'm excited for everything he's going to release. It's always good. But yeah, whenever he's freed up and I'm freed up, we'll get together. I've been extremely busy the last, 3 to 4 days with tons of things going on with my business. So I haven't even had much time to look at charts, to be honest, let alone set up times to be doing interviews or podcasts. Geezer Weezer, $5 super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. That's a cute little dog. What's going on in here? Munir, appreciate you. Haven't had much questions. It's just a lot of people spreading good vibes. It's kind of amazing. All right. He said I need some shrooms after this. What's up, Tito? Sarah made it. Glenn Miller, I appreciate your super chat. Thank you so much, brother. I hope you're having a beautiful day wherever you are. You guys enjoying this little drone footage from the Melted City? It's pretty incredible stuff. Mystic Mayhem, $5 super chat. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Says, yo, my brother. Thank you for all you do. I love how the cycle is creating a new pattern. The more curveballs they throw, the more clues we have. That is such a beautiful mindset. That's really great. You know, that's a really good way to attack what's going on here, because the cyclical behavior of a market and how it could change, if you could adapt to that emotionally especially, then that means you're a true investor. You're ready to be here. You're ready to be a player in this game. You know, the elites, the reason why they're so ahead is because they are aware of the cosmic timeline, and they do as much as they can to basically recreate it in whatever they need to do. You know, that's why like some people were exposing that it was 666 days between the pandemic being declared by the WHO and this new variant. Like, dude, that's what they do. Like, that's what they do best. Like, so whether anyone saw this black swan coming or didn't, it doesn't really matter. Like, at the end of the day, it's what did you do with your positions? Like, what did you do with your investments? You know, one of the things that I wanted to bring up that I think might be, oh, wait 1 second. I'm going to make sure that I'm not losing volume, because it looks like some people are saying they can't hear me. 1 second. You guys let me know if you could hear me. All right, never mind. I'm just going to go with it. And if it doesn't work, whatever. But I was going to say, you know, one of the things that maybe the older members to my work, you know, I'm using the word old, even though it's like people have been, you know, my YouTube channel still only like, I don't even know, like 8 months old or something. But like, you know, back in April, back in May, anyone who's been around for a minute, you know, like Jody would know. There was a time where I was essentially harping on Shemitah and how important it might be to de-risk before Shemitah, because we don't know what could happen in the market. And I remember that vividly. Around that time, my work started to explode, like literally just fucking become so big. And it was all about the correction that happened on Shemitah and also the full moon that followed that. And what was so interesting about all that is at the time where I was talking about de-risking leading up to that correction, there was a lot of frustration in the market, a lot of people like just being like, when will we dip, you know, kind of like losing their minds, right? And I remember the same thing actually when we saw XRP break out. When XRP first broke out and almost went to $2, it like, I don't know, I think it got to like $1.96 or something. That was when the Discord was just opening up. That was when I just made a Patreon and people were just getting into my mastermind community. And at that time, again, I was de-risking my XRP at like $1.50, $1.60, $1.70. I think my last positions that I took off the table on XRP were like $1.80, right? And there was so much backlash and so much hate, right? So the reason why I'm letting you guys all know about this is so you can see why this dip that happened in the market, it doesn't matter to me. Because my work has always been centered around pushing the idea of de-risking when necessary. I might be one of the few YouTubers out there that have told people to de-risk XRP when it was almost hitting $2, and then again when it hit $1.40, and then again telling people to de-risk before Shemitah. But now that it's December and the prices have corrected again, even though we're seemingly holding structure as well, it's a totally different energy now. So the people that have been following my work for a while, you know what's up. And the people that are just starting to find my work, you're like, you need to remember like where you're at. You can't just like get into crypto and in 4 weeks start making money. Like, that's not how this shit works. I remember when I first got into crypto, and perhaps anyone who's been here for like a couple of years in crypto, I remember when I first got into crypto, I bought Bitcoin like $8,000, right? And when I was buying Bitcoin, it stayed sideways for 200 days before it went up. Literally 200 days. Like, I didn't even think about what was going on. I just had some money. I was kind of worried about the Federal Reserve System and what was going on with the dollar. I was just fucking dollar cost averaging, right? Like, I wasn't getting so caught up in like, will we be in a bull run or a bear market? Like, that wasn't on my mind. I wasn't stressed about that shit. And I was spending 10, 12, 14-hour days learning these charts, right? So whenever corrections came, I was just like, oh, this is beautiful, man. This is sick. And look at the market that we have today. Rock bottom volume, no volume trend increase. It's just very little players in this game right now because they're all getting shaken out. So just to be through all of these moments in this market and experience all this stuff and then finally be here, and it's just like, now we're at this stage where some people get so caught up in the time and the minutia, and they made their entire investment thesis based around that. It's like they skipped the fundamentals. They skipped the basics. And I think crypto has a way of doing that with people. Like, it really has a way with psychologically distorting people from becoming a true investor. And it just keeps them in that gambling state of mind indefinitely. And it could be extremely problematic because how is that a rich mindset to essentially consider that you could just put money in a market and you'll always win, regardless of what direction it goes? Like, investing is where you take money that you're able to see completely go away. But here's another thing. Like, one of the things that I taught in my mastermind course, I was teaching people off the bat, when you get into investing, whatever amount of money you're about to put into a market, you also have to be okay with not seeing that money for at least a year. And if I told that to a stock market guy, the stock market guy would actually laugh at me. The stock market guy would, he would be like, just a year? But if you tell these crypto kids, a year. They're like, but what? You're trying to tell me I have to wait a whole year? They're fucked. They're fucked mentally. They don't even know anymore. Like, it's just the internet and social media has completely distorted what it means to be an investor. So they're at like Las Vegas, overdosed on cocaine level fucking gambler. Everything is emotional. Everything is like when moon. And like, those people don't belong here in this community. Like, you need to bye. Like, you need to go. That shit doesn't belong here. Like, these live streams aren't even supposed to be about crypto. I'm just saying what I'm saying right now because it needed to be said. It needs to be heard by some people. Anyways, Long Valley Tea. It's 10 Swiss francs. I always feel more baller when I'm looking at the Swiss franc. Says, I came across your YouTube channel by chance. Great work. We are definitely in the matrix, a matrix that has cycles. Will the market pump until Shemitah 2022 or crash before, and they will introduce us to CBDC? So it's a little bit of a multifaceted question. I mean, let's try to stay away from specific crypto questions. Like, this isn't that bad because it's a pretty general financial idea that you're bringing up. But in short, I mean, I've studied this market enough now to see that moving into the beginning of January, in the tech stocks especially, going back, since basically the beginning of the .com craze, you're seeing that during Shemitah, we tend to move up into the very end of Q4, have a little bit of like relief into early January, and then we get a noticeable pullback. And this could have to do with Saturnalia. It's a ritual. And because of how tied together this Saturn concept is with this year in particular, and again, I've shown this in my work so much, we could be ritualized around Saturnalia this year as well, which I think is the 17th of December through the 21st. I might be wrong. It might be to the 23rd, something like that. So what we're experiencing right now could just be the eclipses trapping energy and essentially just really, really squeezing out the people who don't belong here to begin with. And we really just need to see how the rest of this Q4 finishes up, because as far as I can see, everything has been moving down in harmony and then everything moves up in harmony. And that's very awkward when you see the DXY, the indices and precious metals and crypto all dropping at the same times, and then basically when they recover, all recovering at the same times. That's why I haven't been looking at my charts lately, because this shit is just too manipulated for me to even care about. I look at the charts, maybe I peek in maybe 1 or 2 times a day depending on clients I'm working with, but beyond that there's no need. It's just way too much manipulation. Whatever happens, happens. It's not something I'm concerned about too much at this point, because, again, Shemitah is very, very manipulated, and the markets will start to do things that are extremely obscure that you never imagined. So the chart history going back multiple decades is telling me that early January is most likely going to be when things are pretty much recovered back to highs. If not, we're going to have a different cycle altogether. So I don't entirely know at this time how it's all going to shake out, but I do think that we will have some turmoil in the month of in late February into March. I'm pretty certain of that just because of Gematria Numerology ties. And then I think something will happen in May. And then I also think something will happen in September. So essentially all of 2022 I feel will be problematic, but we don't know necessarily how they're going to manipulate the structure of the market, because, again, we have a lot of financial instruments right now that are able to be manipulated, and it's obvious. They keep pushing this idea of inflation, but we're seeing the dollar do really well. We're starting to see the dollar pretty much go parabolic. And any corrections it has are essentially just back tests of prior resistance, which is bullish. I mean, I've been saying that also for like over a half a year. Like, I feel like 2022 is going to be very bullish for the DXY. And so far, it's looking fucking bullish. And the market also hit an all-time high, like maybe 5 or 6 days before the Black Swan last week. And then this market just started to crater. I mean, it's very, it's a lot. If you're somebody who analyzes the markets as a whole and you've been looking at the charts like a whole, you'll see that what's going on right now is very similar to prior Shemitah cycles around this exact time. And I think I showed that pretty well in my last video, how we tend to get these larger corrections into in the month of November. This one is just wacky. It could be different, and it could be because of these eclipses. It could also be because of the fact that we have Platinum Jubilee, which is something that I'm going to decode soon. So I'll be doing that for the Patreon supporters. I have a decode coming out talking about Queen Elizabeth and the Platinum Jubilee and how it's all tied into Shemitah, and also how it's tied into this new variant. So for those of you that are over on Patreon, I think you're really going to enjoy that. Got another super chat from Tito. Says, you don't need to cook oysters. Do you eat those? No, I don't. Why did you send me a super chat for that? Tito, I appreciate your support, brother, but nah, fam. You could Google that, homie. But I'm glad that you asked me and trusted me with that answer. Much love, bro. Appreciate you. Damn, we got You guys are incredible up in here. Got 760 people. Shit, I didn't even notice that. Yeah, I watched Princess Mononoke the other night, and that shit made me emotional, man. I wrote like when I was done watching that, I wrote a bunch, just like a ton of I don't know if you want to call it poetry, but yeah, Princess Mononoke definitely touched a part of my soul where I was like, damn, man, this guy's onto something. This resonates with me. Got lots of people from Germany up in here. That's amazing. Got a lot of people's comments getting deleted too, so I don't know what you guys are doing. All right. Oh, that's a good question. Liberty Prime says, is 144K still in the cards for 2021? So let's talk about that for a second. So again, like going back to people who've been following my work for a while, like a lot of people don't know where that 144 came from and the idea of December 3rd or December 4th, excuse me. So again, this is never ever something that I said would happen. I've never ever said that Bitcoin would hit this particular price on that day. What I said was the top of the log growth curve line on December 4th is 144K. And this was before I started learning a lot about that number in general. I always knew that it was a Fibonacci number, but I didn't really know too much about the actual like esoteric side of that number. And once I brought that to the world stage, which I believe was like all the way back in like May or some shit, when I brought that up, I started learning about it a bunch, from conversations that I was having with other people. And the idea here was that the prior two bull runs topped out on December new moon. So it was just taking two data points and tying them together as a possibility. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Like my opinion in the Mastermind course, which I made like literally a year and 2 months ago, I think when I shared this information, was that Bitcoin would potentially go to 150,000, maybe 200,000 by February of 2022. That was what I shared. And I remember when I was first bringing that number out to the world stage, like talking to people about 150,000, they were saying that I was giving too low of a figure. They were saying that, no, it's going to go to 200, 300, etc. So again, when my work started to get really popular around Rosh Hashanah, which was early September, what I was learning was a lot of people who were sharing my work were pegging me as this like predictions guy. And I remember vividly inside of our Patreon and multiple Red Pill episodes and a lot inside of just text chats that I was sharing inside of our Discord of me saying, like, I don't want to be looked at as a fucking predictions guy. Like other crypto influencers out there that were sharing my work were kind of presenting me to their communities as somebody who gives predictions. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, that's not who I'm. I'm a teacher. I teach people the skill of technical analysis and how to decode with Gematria Numerology and Astrology. I'm not a predictions guy. Like, I don't want to be that. I think that's silly. It sets up false expectations and it makes people too in their feelings. That's not how I live my life. Like, I practice skills. That's it. I want to learn skills and I want to teach skills so that way people who follow my work can walk away and have a skill now. Because if it was just price predictions, then it's like, yay, he's the guy that gets price predict. But what does that do for you? You feel me? Like, what does that do for somebody? I knew very, very early on in making a YouTube channel that predictions it doesn't matter. It's like, it's the worst energy. Because if you're right, you're Jesus. If you're wrong, you're crucified. It's either or. And that fucking energy is disgusting. You know, like it makes content creators and it makes people who are actually out there to teach people. It dampens the vibe and makes things dark. It makes it hard to want to like be a leader. for those people, because those people don't deserve that. So set the record straight. Like, can Bitcoin hit 100? It could hit anything. Like, I don't care though, because I invested in Bitcoin when it was $8,000. Like, it could go to fucking 60,000, 600,000. I don't care. I'm an investor. I'm here for the long haul. Like, I'm not worried about the minutia. Seriously, like that mindset has set me free. It's relinquished the emotional ties to this market. I trade with money that I am 1,000,000% okay with losing. If you could do that, then you don't need to worry. It's all good. Doesn't matter what price happens. All right, Beta G, $100 super chat. Beta, sending you a big hug. Says, showing up to say how grateful I am for what you've created. You and your team, all very appreciated and admired. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Thanks for being a light in our community. You're loved. And I hope you're doing well wherever you are. Really, really appreciate that. Andrea Berry, I see you. Hope you're doing well. Okay, I'm catching up to the point now where everyone is saying loud and clear. So that means that we are good to go and everything I've been saying has been heard across the world. Beautiful. Okay, I am just trying to find some questions. Warren, I appreciate you. It said it just makes me vomit when I see XRP chart. Then stop investing in it. Don't look at it then. That's a buy signal for me. Hey, do you feel nauseous when you look at this chart? I love that shit. Sean Shoot. Appreciate you, brother. Mr. Jansen. I saw that picture of you and your friend, you and your homie, wearing the Wolfpack hoodies. That was dope. The €8 super chat says, I almost said shot, like cat in French. All right, you guys I'm laughing now. I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. All that needs to be said is one word: love, 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 Mr. Jansen. I appreciate you, brother. It's all love here. Novi says, closed all of my positions before this giant crash and shorted. Feeling good. Loved the shit I got for saying anything negative in the Discord. Drove me to conviction. Well, Novi, I didn't see anything you wrote, but if you had technical analysis and the sentiment that backs up what you did, then you should be very happy with what you did, because you did what was necessary with your money. And how could anyone tell you that you were being negative? Come on, guys. Like, if somebody in our community is sharing their sentiment about what they want to do with their money, then that's fine. That's on them, man. Congratulations. Novi, I remember when I was telling people that I was selling XRP at $1.86 and they were calling me a fucking lunatic. Imagine how good I felt when that shit dropped to 50. After calling that it would hit 51 cents on the nose. Imagine. You should have seen my short trade on that. Whew. All the time, people giving me smoke. Fuck them. Who cares what... Like, I'm sending you a high five, man. Like, people need to trade off of their analysis. Don't get caught up in like everyone else's stuff. It's your money. You know, that's why a lot of people got fleeced this past couple weeks, this past week in particular, because they're trading off of everyone else's sentiment. And I think what Novi is trying to say is that he or she, I see the picture as anyways, it doesn't matter. My point is that you need to develop your own investment thesis, and it's not negative if somebody has a bearish sentiment on the market. You know, like my last 2 videos that I put out, I've given the end of the bull run scenario, and that dead cat bounce information. People cringe when they hear shit like that because they don't want to hear it. But it's realistic, right? A market will do 3 things. It'll either go up, it'll go down, or it'll go sideways. And you just have to determine how you're going to play that. There's no YouTuber, fucking lizard, nothing. Your mother, doesn't matter. It's your money. Like, do what you got to do with your money. And if anyone has anything otherwise to say, then just disregard them. But I can imagine why you feel good right now because, again, like, when you do something and it turns out right against all odds, that's what being a champion's all about. So I congratulate you. Sarah says, bought my first Bitcoin at $3,700. Seems simpler back then. No one knew anything. Yeah, I remember when that crash happened. That was epic. Also, you know, this is making me... I'm going to answer this one super chat, and then I'm going to go back to what I wanted to say. D-Vortex, $10 super chat. I really appreciate you. Much love. Says, thanks to your teachings, I can see the code. I see the ones and the zeros. I've been neonized. I just caught that nice wick at 51.2. You the shit. You know what? I love that. Sending you love. Excited for that new long position you just opened up. Manifesting abundance for you. That's beautiful. Wow. Okay, what was I going to say? Fuck. I was going to say it was really important. Oh, yeah. So, you know, there's some projects right now that are like ultra suppressed and kind of just like boring. And I don't want to talk about crypto too much, but the sentiment of boredom is something that gets me extremely bullish. Like when I hear people that are like, oh, this coin's been sideways for 4 weeks or whatever the fuck. That's like, bruh, 4 weeks? Like, 4 weeks? Get the fuck out of here. Sideways for 4, like even 4 months, it doesn't matter. Like, go back to the theta chart before the pandemic crash, right? It was sideways for like, I don't even know, 400 days. And then it had like an 80% correction. And then after that, it went up 50,000%. So this is why people need to fucking relax. Because even if this market did take an absolute shit, like if you have dry powder on the sidelines, you have capital, you need to remember these shakeouts are what facilitates parabolas. Like it's what facilitates craziness in the crypto market. Nobody during March 20th of 2020 would have ever assumed that after a 70% correction that some of these altcoins can go up 60,000%. No, if you asked anyone at that time, they would have been like, no fucking way. It's impossible. And everyone who was buying crypto during that V-shaped dip was probably being called a clown. You feel me? Like they were all probably being clowned on. But they ended up being geniuses. So it's really like, you know, it's always about the opposite of what the average person thinks. Hassan Tazi said, did you help Earl Sweatshirt write his new single, the 2010? Yeah, Earl's a brother, man. That guy's... If you're into Earl, you should check out Mavi. Mavi is one of my favorite rappers. Yeah. Thanks for the super chat, Hassan. No, I don't know Earl, but I mean, I would love to. I would love to talk with him. He's probably really, he's using some words, like his vocabulary is vast. His vernacular. He's a super talented kid. I was actually doing some decoding on Mac Miller the other day, and geez Louise, was that a ritual. I don't want to talk about that too much though. All right, let's find some information. So Flowed Remodeling says, "You give me so much tranquility. Thank you, bruh. Words of wisdom." I appreciate you, man. That's what I'm all about. Oh my god, somebody said those trans boys didn't write that movie. No way. All right. Yo, so the other day I was listening to what's his name? Andrew Schultz. He's like a comedian, right? And he said the word transparent, like when you're being transparent with somebody, but the way he said it, it sounded like he said transparent. Like and he was like, "What do you mean? Like somebody who's single and has no kids who gets to like identify as a mother of 6?" I started fucking dying, man. I thought that shit was hilarious. All right. Happy man. Jay, what's good, homie? He says, "Thank you, pistachio vegan ice cream waiting for you." Yo, pistachio gelato is my favorite. Wow. I can't wait for the day that I could go visit you in Brazil. It's going to be dope. Thomas gets like the best questions. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but it's like Gonchki. It's like Polish or something. He says, "Oh, and the comment before, I'll answer this real quick. Why don't you like XLM?" Here's a comprehensive answer. I don't like any of these cryptos. All these cryptos are blockchain technology, which is to enslave humanity into a bullshit cashless society where we're basically going to be like, yeah, like, fuck all these cryptos, man. I don't give a fuck about any of them. It's digital money. It's not that I don't like stellar lumens. I mean, the one thing about XLM is it's the grossest looking chart ever. Like, it's just a shitty looking chart. And like I said earlier, I'm a technical analyst. I'm not a predictions guy. So XLM might do really well, like especially if XRP wakes up. But outside of that, if somebody wants my opinion on a coin, I'm looking at the charts. I'm looking at the TA. Because all these coins have some sort of fucking sob story about them, about how great they are, and ISO 2005. It's all a psyop. So it's not that I don't like XLM. I don't like any of it. It's money. I don't worship money. So I have nothing that I like or don't like about any of this stuff. I am neutral. It's just a bad looking chart. But with that being said, if it becomes oversold and you like it, consider it DCAing. Not financial advice. But at the end of the day, I can't really say much more than that. So I hope that clears up a lot for people, like where I stand on this blockchain stuff. It's not for humans. It's not for me. Like I'm a free infinite being. I'm a light energy god. Like all this crypto shit is to take something that's very powerful, which is you guys, and make you enslaved further into this fucked up system. Like that's the clear pill. Sorry, someone has to say it. Anyways, Thomas says, "Much love, all waters above. What is the most vivid dream you've experienced? What did you learn from it? I'm stoked about you continuously living in your bliss." That's beautiful, man. The most vivid dream I've ever experienced. Fuck. Damn. Okay, so one time when I was in Amsterdam, okay, this is a good story. This is like a podcast story. I think you guys will enjoy this. So I was in Amsterdam, right? And I was at the is there like a Picasso museum there? I was in some famous museum, right? I was in Amsterdam, Netherlands, right? And I was at this museum, and these kids were like following me. I was alone. I was alone in Europe for a long time, and I have like a beard. I had long ass hair. So this kid with dreads like walked up to me, and he was like, "You want to get a coffee?" And I was like, "I know what that means." So I went with these, and he had a friend, right? And then that sketched me out. That really sketched me out because I was like, I don't know, where did this other guy come from, right? You could imagine you're like walking around alone, and some guy asks you to basically go to a coffee shop with him, which means you're either going to eat some weed with him or you're going to smoke. And I don't smoke. So I literally just went with the kid to like chill and whatever, right? So then we get there. I ended up eating like one of these cakes because he bought it for me, right? And when I was chewing it, I could like taste there was just straight up like nuggets of weed in this thing. And an hour later, like nothing happened, like literally nothing. So these kids started getting really sketchy. I found out that they spoke Italian, so they were just speaking Italian with each other. It got really awkward. So then I got sketched out, and then I ended up eating a second one of those like cakes. So think about this, right? Like this shit was already like taking you to the moon. My digestive system, I guess, just didn't like understand what it was getting itself into. And then I had another one, and then they both kicked in at like the same exact time. I was in another realm. Like I was seeing, how in Amsterdam everyone's riding bikes, right? So I was seeing all these bikes and these people, like I could make the bike turn into whatever I wanted to. Like I would look at these bikes and I would just be like, I want that bike to be purple, and it would just turn purple. It was crazy. It was so funny and so crazy at the same time. So anyone who knows about Amsterdam, you know that the streets are like super windy and weird, and also the like the stair steps inside of a lot of houses are really weird. So there was like all the stair steps that were in the hotels or the hostels were like essentially ladders. And it took me like, I found out that I was only 15 minutes walk away from my hostel that I was staying at, and it ended up taking me like 2.5 hours to get home. Like, I was so fucking lost. Like I had no idea where I was. I was just staring at stuff and turning it into whatever I wanted to turn it into. Like I was actually having hallucinations, like on eating edibles. And maybe that shit had some LSD in it. Like, I really don't know, because I've eaten weed before and it was nothing like that. So anyways, yeah, it took me like 2 hours to get home. I fell asleep. And while I was sleeping, the whole time, like literally the entire time I was sleeping, the guy in the bunk under me kept taking my blanket off. And I was like, I've never felt violent in my life until that one night. And you know how like when you're high on weed, you like you're definitely not violent. Like it's just not a thing. And I felt this guy like taking my blanket off. And what it was I was dreaming. But I was dreaming like such a realistic, vivid dream. And then I looked over to see who was taking my blanket off. And it was a fucking angel. Like it was like a winged, like huge wingspan. Like this shit looked insane. It looked like I was in a movie. Huge wingspan angel. And I am zonked. Like I am in the 17th dimension, right? This shit was crazy. And then this angel's just like, you got to get up. You really got to get up. Like, and I'm like, what do you mean get up, bro? Like I'm fucking tired as shit. I can't even stand right now. I am so zonked. And yeah, so the angel just like he was funny too. Like it wasn't a male or a female. It was like mixed gendered. Like I don't think angels are like, I think they're both like, they're like hermaphrodites. I don't know what the right word is, but like I'm being serious right now. So I hung out with an angel. And it was wild. Like the whole like kind of lesson I was learning was to not take life so seriously. Like everything is just a game. Like it's just a big cosmic game. And yeah, so I woke up the next morning and I looked at the guy under me and I was like, "Hey dude, were you pulling my blanket the whole night?" Like, because I wanted to imagine that what I was dreaming was fake. You know, like I wanted to sort of convince myself that I wasn't actually having a like I wasn't actually seeing an angel. Because at first I thought I was dead. I was like, "What the fuck, dude? I think I'm dead." And I wasn't dead. I woke up. I was in a bunk bed. The guy under me was like, "No, dude, I was not fucking with your blanket." And then I was even more confused. And then I went out to breakfast with him the next day, and that was the end of the story. So that's the most vivid dream I've ever had. I'm glad I remembered that. All right, there's 670 people up in here. Damn. I guess some people still are hanging out after that crazy story. Ninja Rem, what's up? Ninja Rem with the Bible verse. Let's see what you said. "And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. The children of Isis, Ra, and El, Saturn." Huh. Yeah, there's so much in the Bible, like just so many gems, man. Like really absolutely incredible gems. You need to read it with an open pineal gland, that's for sure. Seek Truth 101 says, "Your work and philosophies and convos with Logan changed my life in a short period of time. Appreciate you and thank you." Wow, that really means a lot to me. I'm glad that I've played a role in your journey. You know, give yourself credit too. Your higher self sent you here. You're here for a reason. And I appreciate you being part of this live stream with us tonight. If I missed any super chats and any mods are still here, I would appreciate if you guys can share the super chat with me so that I could see it. Okay, so Sarah, thank you for doing that. Says super chat from Brian. Hello, Brian. Says, "Hey Jordan, hope you're doing well." Thank you. I appreciate that. He says, "Do you think they're purposefully extending the blow off top to lead into the potential Cyber Polygon event?" You know, that's a decent question to ask because I've been asked that quite a bit back when that event was happening. And I made a comparison to Event 201 and how it took Event 201 about 6 months to actually hit the world stage with a real event. So if you guys remember when the what was it called? I think it was called Cyber Polygon. Was it going on back in like August or something like that? Anywho, if you assume like 6 months out, this is probably when there's going to be another event. And I think that puts us around February or March. So again, perfectly timed with this February idea. I mean, honestly, it would be very interesting to see the market positive and bullish into February. Like that would be very interesting. We haven't really seen that too much in the past. It's possible. We just haven't really seen that too much in the past. Typically, we get corrections through February. So Abdullah Nasif with the $5 super chat, I really appreciate you, says, "Hey Jordan, it's Abdullah from Coach JV Academy." Beautiful. Says, "Send in love and high vibrations to this beautiful community, especially my friend Mario." Thank you so much, Abdullah, for tuning in. I appreciate you and Mario. I believe Mario's emailed me in the past. It was very nice. I haven't spoke to Coach JV in a while, unfortunately. I'm sure he's a very busy guy. It'd be great to connect with him and pick his brain about how things are going in his world. And yeah, tell Coach JV to reach out to me. It'd be great to talk with him again soon. Last time I talked with him was like a voice text when he was in an airport. So he sounds like he's been extremely busy. Okay, let's go. How long have we been going for? So yeah, I'm seeing Bryant's question again. Yeah, I mean, I assume... You know, one of the things that's interesting about these ideas of cyber pandemics and like, you know, whatever's going to happen in regards to blackouts and how it'll affect the economy, I do want everyone to remember that crypto is such a tiny part of the economy. And if they're going to come after any group of people, the crypto community is probably... I mean, and I'm talking about wiping out accounts or whatever the fuck people are theorizing, like whatever these conspiracies are around Cyber Polygon. People are putting too much FUD into crypto, but crypto is such a small percent. Like, if they really wanted to affect people, it would be the traditional banking system. That's where they would want to create issue, or in logistics, you know, like just logistics in general. That would be where they would want to create problems. There's like, it's like 0.01% of the world is involved in crypto, you know, like, so it's such a tiny portion. And I'm talking about holding real cryptos. I'm not talking about people who get like airdropped $10 of Bitcoin because they did a Coinbase referral or from a friend. Like, no, I'm talking about people who actually put dollars into the market. It's a very, very tiny percentage of the world's population. It's a very scary asset for most people. Most people don't actually know what other, like, they know Bitcoin, they might know Shiba because of what's happened, they might know Doge. But if you walked out in the street right now and just walked up to some random person and you were like, hey, have you heard of Ethereum? They'd be like, what did you just fucking say? They don't know. Like, people don't know about crypto. So this idea that there's going to be like some sort of cyber blackout event, it's going to affect crypto, I sincerely do not look at that way. You'd be affecting the smallest pot of the population, and that's not what the New World... Like, the New World Order does things on a very large scale. They implement change on a global scale. That's their agenda. Let's see. Okay. Gotta take some work into my own hands. Boom, boom, boom. Bye-bye. Yeah, I think... Perfect. So I got that question... Yeah. Fox Mulder, appreciate you. Invest in black grapevines. Oh, so Ian, you have met Earl. That's cool. He seems like he'd be very funny. Robert Rascone, 90... Oh, thank you so much, Robert. I just saw your super chat. I don't see any questions, but I appreciate you. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah. Transparent. That shit was funny as hell. Yeah, Patrice O'Neal is super funny. Patrice O'Neal is one of my favorites for sure. He needs to be heard today on the grand scale for all the men out there that are struggling. And all the women for sure. He's incredible. Yeah, this Parasite, he's gone. I'm trying to find some questions, but he said non-binary eagles. Oh man. I'm reading some of these comments from me sharing my story. Rinky says, how do I open my pineal gland? Well, first what you need to do is you need to go grab some scissors, and you want to start cutting into your own forehead until and then you want to get a hammer and just nail through your skull, and then eventually you'll get to the pineal gland, and you just, what you want to do when you get to that point is just put a little bit of hot sauce on the pineal gland, and then it'll open up. That's how you do it. I'm just kidding. I hope you know that. No, but seriously, it's just natural, man. Like, it's a process. It's a process of unlearning. That's really what I think throughout my experiences here on this earth realm, earth purgatory, whatever you want to call it. I've just learned that it's all about perception, and everything that we're taught is typically indoctrination. It's stuff that's told to us that we take at face value and accept no matter what, without any critical thinking. That right there will keep somebody in this servant-like state consciously for a very, very extended period of time. And it's funny too, especially younger people, younger kids, when they're questioning shit as they're growing up, your pineal gland's already open. Like, when you're born, when you're brought into this earth, you're already like fucking, you're conscious as fuck. Like, you're awake, bro. That's why they put poison in your eyes and do all that fucked up vaccines and shit. They're trying to get all of that stuff to stop working. That's the goal. Like, that's what I'm working on a theory soon. I'm working on a theory soon talking about the two souls and how, like, there might be multiple souls, and there's one that's contractual, and there's one that's something that you can never give up. And this one that you never give up is something that it's with you forever, throughout all the lifetimes, throughout all your reincarnate cycles, if you're somebody who believes that. I'm open-minded to anything, but I'm looking at this two souls kind of like this, like having two suns and two moons. Like, there's so much more going on here on this earth realm that we don't quite know about. And the more open-minded we get, we start to see that there's more balance in this planet than there is anything. And although there's chaos within that balance, that chaos is there to bring balance. Anyways, I don't want to get off the rails with this, but the two souls idea is something that I'm working on a lot, and I literally just don't do any research. I turn off the internet, I play guitar, and then I go within and I start getting this data from within, and and I write it down eventually, and it becomes part of my new format of perceiving reality. And I urge everyone to try that as well, because a lot of people that, like, they want to wake up or whatever, they spend so much time externalizing everything. They want to learn everything from the outside, but actually everything's within. Let's see. All right. We'll get a couple more questions in, and then I'm going to head out. Says, where are the conversations with Logan? They're over on his channel, Decode Your Reality. And then, yep. Just go over to Decode Your Reality's channel. I urge everyone here to go follow his work. Absolutely incredible stuff. Logan's incredible. Yeah, I have a really big feeling that they're going to create some serious problems with regular checking accounts, and it might be more advantageous for people to have multiple credit accounts, given that your credit is in good standing and you're not somebody that is failing in that regard. But that's one of my theories. So Katashi Hatake says, why was Mac Miller a part of a ritual? Well, very simply, if you put Mac Miller into the Gematria calculator, you're going to get 26 in the Chaldean cipher, and he died at the age of 26. And his last album cover was literally his body in the shape of the ruler and, or they would call it the square and compass, which is the logo of Freemasonry. And half his body, most of his body is sitting in the dark or in the black square. And outside of him is the white square. And all that is in the white square is his feet. And his feet, he's not wearing any shoes, and he has dirty soles. And this is all symbology. But the way he's holding his arms, the way that his legs are spread, everything is showing you the Freemason logo. And by the code, you can see very clearly why he died at the age he died at. They all do. You know, all of the famous people that are dying, especially when they're young, they're dying because of the ritual about it. Either they did something against their rulers, or they were useless to their rulers, meaning they're like, has-beens or old news, like they can't use them anymore, kind of like what they did with Britney Spears. Or they're just ritualizing you altogether, like what they did with Princess Diana. They literally just killed her on that day because they needed to, because it's part of their psychopathic fucking regime. These people are dark, man. The lizard race. He said Frank's red hot. Do you use Sheilaji? Yeah, I really like I like Sheilaji if it is in the resin format. I'm not a really big fan of the Sheilaji that is powderized. I think that it is not necessarily the highest quality. To continue processing it further and further and further and further, essentially Sheilaji naturally grows as a resin. So if you can get it closer to the way that it actually is formed naturally, that'd probably be the best bet. Hot sauce, got it. Okay, let me see. Thoughts on. Some of these things are so funny. I'm trying to find some questions. All right, I think it's probably naturally the time that we move on. I'm going to be making the Red Pill episode this weekend. I don't know if I'll do it tomorrow. I have to see what's on my schedule, but if not, I'll do it this Sunday. And of course, I'll be giving a comprehensive market analysis on how I'm feeling. The market as the traditional markets have been the bane of our existence this past week. It's really been a struggle because of the traditional markets. So we're going to have to see how next week goes. One final note about this week in particular is it's the 48th week of the year. And that comes back to the number 223. And I've spoken about this in my work plenty of times, but I don't want to get too into the code right now. This is stuff that I've spoken about. This is a very interesting time. So I highly want to just let everyone know, be calm, chill out in the market right now. Like whatever is going to happen is going to happen. It's not worth losing sleep over, do what you got to do to protect yourself. But if you're getting emotional at this market right now, it's probably a sign that you need some more time in this market to really learn how you value it and where you align with it. Stuart says, what's for dinner tonight? I actually ate earlier. I drank like a half a gallon of grapefruit juice, and it was really good. It was like super sweet. I wasn't anticipating it being as sweet as it was, but it was. So I went out and bought a bunch more orange juice and red grapes this week. The red grapes were The only opportunity that I had to get some grapes. I mean, it's kind of weird to even be able to get grapes in December, right? Like, that's fucking weird. But I'm doing what I got to do. I think apples are looking good. Apples and pears are looking pretty good, so I'll probably go grab some more of those tomorrow. But no dinner for me tonight. I'm just going with water and grapefruit juice and guitar playing, and I'm going to feed my soul the way that it needs to be fed, in calmness. So I wish everyone a beautiful rest of your week. Oh, and anyone who wanted to sign up for Patreon, if that's your thing, I will be putting a link below because the new month has started. And then our mastermind community will have that red pill episode coming out over this weekend. Going to go over a bunch of altcoins. Of course, we're going to do a full-blown comprehensive analysis on Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, the usuals. Patreon.com/WatersAbove. I appreciate every single one of you, and I hope you enjoyed your Friday night or your Saturday morning if you're over there on the other hemisphere. Much love to all of you. Good night.